Alright, today we're ranking James Gunn films. I know he's not a genius of filmmaking like a Kubrick or a Wes Anderson, but you can't deny the guy does make good movies. He's definitely found what works and he sticks to it. At least his films have a distinct style and are all at the very least good. You know what you'll get from a James Gunn film. You're gonna get a little bit of fun, you're gonna get some action, you're gonna laugh a little bit, you know, they're a good time. So here are the rankings of his 7 movies. Alright, so Slither is James Gunn's first film, and Slither is good. It's only down here because at the end of the day, it is just a B movie. It's competing against these blockbusters with budgets of hundreds of millions, but when it's doing the exact same thing as the others, it just gets completely overshadowed in every department. It's got less characters, the effects aren't as good, it takes place on Earth, so it's not as interesting, and then the story is just, you know, pretty basic. I will say though, the monster was good. It was really disturbing and disgusting, which is, you know, actually really great in the context of Slither.
I get scared.
Okay, this placement is not me hopping on the hate bandwagon because A, the Superman hate is old news, and B, as I said, all of these movies are good. When I first watched it, I went to the cinema and I thought it was great, but that may have been due to me being a little high. So then I watched it again. And yeah, I could see quite a lot of faults with it. I'd say the writing is the weakest out of all these films. Almost dumb at a point. Everything is just so convenient. Also, nothing is really earned. You get a bit of a problem and then the next scene there'll be a handy solution. Now, the whole pocket dimension part of it was really dumb and lazy. And there were points the CGI was just flat out not good. Actually, well, I don't know why this is even not last. Okay, well, actually, no, Superman did, however, have good world building. I feel like it's a good introduction to the new DC world. Superman actually feels like Superman, and you know what? The cinematography is kind of underrated. There's some really nice visuals in there. Overall, the film is fun. It does the job. I'd rather watch this again than Slither, and I don't think this should knock anyone's confidence in James Gunn's DC universe.
Shut up, crime.
I enjoyed Super. I struggle to see why it's not really rated at all. Probably Gunn's most relatable film, unless you can relate to Space Raccoons and Superman. It's got some good writing in there. It's definitely the most real and human. There's none of this over-the-top dialogue that's in the others. It's not a complex film, you know, pretty basic plot actually. And aside from the end, the action is, you know, alright. But I'd say it's a funny film. Like actually funny. I'd say the third act is great and definitely sticks the landing. And I like the look of it, to be honest. You know, it's a pretty cool looking film. There is this one scene where if it was meant to be funny, is in really bad taste. But if it was intended to be disturbing, then it succeeded and really adds to the darkness of the film. Super is super good.
Your name is... It's Taserface?
This is definitely the weakest Guardians film. It's the awkward middle child. It doesn't have the world building of the first, and it doesn't have the emotional conclusion of being the last. I get there's James Gunn humor in all of these films, but this is the one where it's a bit too much. They'll be on the verge of letting the whole universe getting destroyed, and everyone is just trying to be nonchalant and say cool stuff for aura points. And the whole thing to beat the villain is he has a weak spot, which is, you know, the oldest trick in the book. It also mainly takes place on this one planet, which makes it the least expansive compared to the others. I know it seems like I have nothing good to say about this film, but you know, the whole franchise is very good. It's just easier to point out what makes this particular film worse than the others. It does have some great moments, you know, sure, but so do the other two.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
Very good film. This is 18 rated, which meant that James Gunn could get violent with it. Where Superman is held back with its need to pander to as large an audience as possible, Suicide Squad feels like it has more freedom to do what it wants. There's blood to go with the great action that's in the film. Very fun, and that is due to the action I just mentioned, but also the characters. You've got Idris Elba, very solid, Stallone as the funny shark, and John Cena as Peacemaker, a character so good that he got his own TV show. You also have to appreciate how Gunn breathes life into characters like Polka Dot Man, who otherwise no one would give a shit about. It's a very stylish film. It's colorful and vibrant. This walkout shot with Hey by the Pixies playing in the background, beautiful. I do think it just lacks a proper villain for the audience to root against. They kind of just go about the film doing stuff until the script says, all right, now deal with this problem now. The last line from the villain was pretty good though. I like that. Overall, I do really like the Suicide Squad. It's a lot better than this piece of shit. And you could say that this film actually saved the franchise. So fair play, James Gunn.
I'm Groot.
These two are so close that they're probably interchangeable. They're very similar, as you'd expect, and they're just really good movies. I do have an answer for which one is better, just, hold on a sec. Volume 1 is such a good introduction. The world building in this film is some of the best you can get in a movie. You've got Easter eggs and little details that are perfect for comic book fanatics. Volume 3, however, has the better villain in my opinion. My god, do they do a great job making you hate this guy. The High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji, I hope I didn't butcher that pronunciation, delivers a fantastic performance. The character isn't just evil for the sake of it, he actually has a motive that explains why he does what he does. A bit theatrical, sure, but it works. Volume 3 also carries the most emotional weight. Being the last film, it does well to tie everything together and give a good send-off. And then Rocket's backstory, which, this film kind of centers around, blatantly emotionally manipulative, but it works. I know what they're doing, but they genuinely did get to me. And that emotional build-up is what makes the end confrontation between Rocket and the High Evolutionary so satisfying. That said, I'm giving the number 1 spot to Volume 1. By the time we get to Volume 3, the world of Guardians of the Galaxy has already been built, and it relies on the audience already knowing a lot from outside this specific movie. It follows the same blueprint as Volume 1, which is fine as it's in the same trilogy, but it just reminded me how refreshing it was to watch that first Guardians film. As a standalone movie, I think Volume 1 just holds up better. But I will say on another day, Volume 3 could probably be number 1, depends how I'm feeling. Anyway, that's my list. Let me know your ranking down below as usual, and yeah, check out this other ranking, and also let me know who you would want me to rank next. So yeah, thanks, and have a good day.